and welcome to Fireside Chat. Thanks for tuning in to our program.
We're right here on Main Street in Porterville with Jess Edwards and company here, and it's great.
And you know, speaking of older things in a store, you personally have stories about everything in your shop. I wonder why somebody brought that in. Isn't that unusual? And it's interesting. But sometimes there's actually a story which you never hear about. You never know the full story about that.
Your comments on this, Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Well, yeah, they do bring in a lot of things like that, and there are a lot of things here, you know, that do have stories behind them, just like that. That scale was bought in 1918 here in Porterville. And then I bought it here, up here, but all the time, Bill Cobb bought it, and they had borrowed money from Joe Mauer in order to buy the drugstore. And then the first month, Bill buys that thing, and his wife, and he just about got a divorce. And so after Bill died, I asked his wife about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, I sure remember that scale all right." So she gave me the whole history of the scale.
And I'm glad you brought that up about that Toledo scale. I plan to get a snapshot of that scale. We talked about it, and that is a story behind it. What dollar figure do you put on that scale, Mr. Edwards?
Well, I called the Toledo scale, and it's their top-of-the-line scale. And they said you should sell it for about $5,000, and they would give me $5,000 for it. But it's here in Porterville, and people come in and weigh on it all the time, and a lot of them have weight contests with each other, you know, and so then they use this scale as their scale that's official with them. But it's accurate.
What's the limits to how much can be weighed on that scale? It's
300 pounds.
300 pounds.
300 pounds is the limit. We had a guy come in one time, and he weighed about 285, and so anyway, his name was Martini, and so he said, "Well, heck, 285." He says, "I can go down and have some spaghetti." So he went down and had spaghetti. Well, the guy from the Bureau of Weights and Measures liked the scale, and so he came in and found out that when it got up so high, the deal was bumping on the scale, on the scale sign. So he adjusted it, and this guy come back and it went up to 300, and then so he was really upset.
What other kinds of things can you imagine might have been weighed on that scale throughout time?
Oh, it was in Cobb Drug, and everybody weighed on that scale. It has a counter on it there, and it's gone over 2 million twice.
Wow.
So over 2 million people have weighed on that scale.
That's a history in itself.
Yeah, and it's still accurate because I'll weigh at the VA deal, you know, and I'll weigh it, come back here, and I'll weigh the same. So it's accurate.
Well, and
could you, maybe you told us before and possibly it went right over my head or I just missed what you said. How did you acquire this scale, and did you get it for reasonable cost? And so you've had it for some years, correct?
Yeah, Cobb Drug went out of business in the 1970s, and they had the scale there, and somebody from L.A. had offered them so much money for it. I forget what it was, $400 or $500. And anyway, he offered them that much for it, and so anyway, I asked him about it, and he said, "Well, if you want to give us that much money, you can have it." So that's the way I bought it and got it down here. And we actually, it's just 2 blocks down, and so actually we wheeled it all the way down here, down the street.
and what year did you get the scale?
It was in the 1970s.
I'll be darned. Isn't that something?
Right after we opened up, we got the scale almost the first thing.
But Jeff, I don't know where the time's gone. You know, they say time flies when you're having fun, and I've really enjoyed this discussion. It's like I said it earlier, it's kind of like I've known you for quite a while. It's strange, and I've found that some people, it's easier to talk to than others, right, son?
That's right, and just had a wonderful time here at Edwards Gallery here on Main Street in Porterville, California, and this has been Fireside Chat. We've had a great time here with Mr. Edwards and Felicia, and let the viewers once again know your address and store hours and all that.
Yeah, it's Edwards Gallery, Porterville, California, and the zip is 93257. And the address is 248 North Main Street. And then the telephone number is 559 area code and 781-1225. And our hours are Monday through Friday from 11 to 4. And that's it. But I've had a wonderful time being interviewed too. I've enjoyed it.
All right.
We got to do it again.
Yeah, try it again sometime.
All right, it's been fun, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
It was a pleasure having you here with us. And just as a reminder, please check in next Saturday for a brand new show. We encourage and appreciate any viewer comments. Remember, this is the Fireside Chat.